Broadcasting from the great state of Texas. News and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Seay.
Lubbock, Amarillo, Abilene, Wichita Falls, Midland, Odessa, Dallas, Fort Worth, down in Houston, over in El Paso, and anywhere else. Inside or outside the great state of Texas, wherever you may be listening on this Monday, February 9th of 2026. We welcome you into the Chad Seay Show. Glad to have you with us today on the program. And, oh, boy, it is a busy, busy show today as we've got a few guests lined up to join us here on the program. Coming up here in just a little bit for those of you in the Lubbock area, our friends over at the Lubbock Lions Club, Deborah Perry will be in studio to tell you about the Pancake Festival that's coming up this Saturday. That's right, which is also Valentine's Day. So you can't forget about that. Love is in the air. Pancake batter will be, well, hopefully not in the air. Hopefully it'll be on the griddle, but you get it. And we're going to talk about pancakes coming up here in just a bit and how you can get tickets. We'll have more tickets to give away as well. At 5:35, Chad Seay, running for Lubbock County Commissioner in Precinct 4, he'll join us to discuss his campaign in the Republican primary, which early voting will begin very, very soon, folks. We're coming up on it, and so for those of you who maybe you haven't heard from all the candidates yet, just stand by. If you haven't, you can also go back and listen to podcasts and hear some of the candidates when they've appeared on the show in the past. And kind of do a refresher on some of these candidates. So we've got Chad Seay, who will join us coming up at 5:35. Scott Braddock, editor of Quorum Report, will join us coming up at 6:05, and then at 6:35, Christi Craddick, who is running for Texas Comptroller, will join us at again 6:35 this evening. So. A lot of different candidates who will join us. A lot of time for you also to weigh in on some of the issues of the day. We will, of course, be getting into some of the political news of the day, and we'll be getting into some of the new polling data in the U.S. Senate race for both the Republicans and the Democrats that we can talk about. So we've got all of that to get to throughout the show today. Of course, we want to hear from you. You've heard from everybody else all day long. When we don't have a guest in the studio, we want to hear from you on any of the issues that you would like to talk about, that you care about. Now's the time for you to do that. You can text in at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. You can text in, sound off on anything that you would like to talk about. When you do text in, be sure that you give us your name and where you're listening from. That way we can give you the proper shout out whenever you text in. You can also tap the app, send us a message on your station's app. You can also find us on social media at Chad Seay Radio. And of course, you can also give us a call at 1-800-687-0790. That's 1-800-687-0790. The first voice you hear from when you dial in today, he now considers himself a Bad Bunny fan. It's Nick. Nick, how are you today?
I'm doing well. So we've established I have never heard any of this Bad Bunny songs.
Right. As
prior.
Yeah.
Prior to yesterday.
Yes.
I have to say.
Yeah.
I still will not be able to tell you any of his songs. The thing is, I'm not the target demo
Yeah.
for his music.
Yeah.
Maybe I am, but I'm just an outlier, I guess.
Yeah.
I did not know any of the songs. I didn't know anything. I watched it with some friends.
Yes.
Hanging out watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Most everybody recognized at least one song, or at least the music behind
I'm
a
calling
portion of
BS on that.
A portion of it.
Okay.
They knew because they're familiar. They keep up with this. They know all the current.
Maybe when Lady Gaga appeared, maybe they were like, "Oh, that's Lady Gaga."
That's how I was.
That.
That's how I was.
Yeah.
I didn't. He had some backup people who were celebrities.
Yeah.
Strangely enough.
Yeah, you had Ricky Martin show up.
Exactly. Yeah, but not even. I'm talking who didn't even do anything.
Oh yeah.
They were just in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was a little strange. But yeah, Ricky Martin was there. It was not my cup of tea.
Let me say, I found it hilarious that they did not pan into the crowd at all. Do
they normally do that?
Every now and then they'll pan into the crowd, or they'll have
like a reaction shot.
Yes, or they'll have a bunch of people on the field,
Oh, sure.
pretending to dance or whatever.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And so you had dancers on the field yesterday, and you had people dressed as trees yesterday.
Yeah, grass, yeah.
Yeah, but if you were actually, I saw some points of view from inside the stadium today.
No.
Where because he was dancing among the trees,
He was.
and if you were
them.
if you were in the stadium,
Yeah.
you couldn't see what was going on. Like you were just staring at
a little awkward,
rooftops. Yeah, you were just staring at most of the show. If you were inside the stadium, you're like, we don't know what's happening.
But they did have it on like the jumbo screen, right?
Yeah,
like,
but if you're like watching,
Yeah.
and so, but then I saw some crowd shots of, and you had some people who were dancing.
Sure.
And then, but the most of the crowd was just looking around going, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to assume that a lot of the, much of the crowd also is maybe a little unfamiliar with his music.
Yeah.
Because when I think big football fans who go to the Super Bowl, I don't think they also love Bad Bunny. Typically, I don't.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah,
and I even knew we were of course watching with someone who was very fluent in Spanish.
Sure.
And even he was sitting there going, I don't understand what he's saying. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying if you're... I was just telling someone earlier today, you either loved it or you hated it. If you were a big fan, you like his music, you've heard him before, you like him, you loved it.
Yeah.
If you have no idea who he is...
It's like every other halftime show.
Exactly. If you like
it, you
like it.
If you liked the musicians, you loved it. If you hated it, you hated it. And then you had people who watched the Turning Point USA deal, and they loved that. And that's fine. Was it... did he go over the top and crazy? No one would know because it was not in English. So most people in the United States who were watching would have no idea if he said anything that was political. But from what the on-watchers said, that he didn't say anything political. He didn't yell about ICE.
Are we talking about the main? We're not talking about Kid Rock. We're talking about Bad Bunny.
We're talking about the Bad Bunny.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, not talking about Green Day, who yelled "Blank America."
But that's the lyrics, right? That's a song.
I think they added that in.
Oh, a little bonus.
They added in an F-bomb America there. Yeah, but that's what Green Day does.
Green Day, yeah.
They don't like it here. They don't want to go anywhere else, but they surely don't like it here.
I did not watch the alternate Kid Rock.
Yeah.
I did see about 10 seconds of clips.
Yeah.
And all I saw was American flags everywhere and then fire and then Kid Rock.
Yeah.
And that's really all
we
I
didn't
saw.
watch it because and we didn't even try because where we were it may have been technically challenging for that to get onto the big screen. I'll just put it that way.
Technical perspective.
Yes,
it would have been wrong.
It would have been a little bit challenging to do that. But I heard it was. I heard people who liked it. They liked it. I just, what I did during halftime. I watched a little bit of it, and I went and I refilled on some food and some finger foods, and went this. This is what I do during every halftime show. Yeah. I just go refill my plate and get another drink. And then I sit down and go, let's let the boring football game continue now.
And then you have all of the AI ads.
Yeah.
I would like to go back and then count how many AI commercials.
Boy, there were a bunch.
There were few, and we say this, I know we said this last year, probably the year before too, there were so few memorable commercials that
Jurassic Park.
That was good.
They had that one with Xfinity, I guess. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
And the Budweiser ad, that was good.
Sure. America, yeah. And then AI.
I think that's all I can tell you. Yeah, that's about it for the commercials. So there you go. There was our wrap of the Super Bowl. Hope Seahawks won. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. Big game yesterday. So there you go. That's our wrap, our special wrap of the big game that happened yesterday. 806-680-2790. When we come back, we'll talk about the big pancake fest that's coming up on Saturday. We'll be right back.
Well, I started out down a dirty road.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune into News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock. News Talk 940 in Amarillo. News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene. And in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Tuesday, Tom Collins, Matt Crow.
You may not know this. We have a candidate for the United States Senate right here in town. His name is Gus Kahn. He'll be in the studio and tell us about his campaign.
Yeah, also, Cheryl Isaacs, Coldwell Bank of Real Estate, will be here to talk about facets of real estate that you really need to know about. Also, we got some prize bomb stuff.
Lots of stuff for chopped and sliced, pancakes, you name it. Dwight Yoakam.
Sunrise LBK in the morning.
Add the KFYO text line to your contacts and voice your opinion during our local shows. 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. News Talk 95.1 and 790. And on the KFYO app.
TSN headlines: the U.S. Department of Homeland Security purchased nearly 900,000 square feet of warehouse space in East El Paso County. ICE plans to use the Socorro, Texas site as an 8,500 capacity migrant detention facility. Many people are opposed. There are conflicting reports about possible cases of tuberculosis at Camp East Montana in El Paso. Congresswoman Veronica Escobar and an El Paso City spokeswoman both shared reports of the cases over the weekend. A spokesperson for ICE denied any presence of the disease at the camp. And there are multiple billboards in Texas publicizing the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the missing mother of Today show anchor Savannah Guthrie. The FBI launched the billboards in Houston, San Antonio, El Paso, and Louisville. Comal County Judge Sherman Krause has passed away at his home in New Braunfels over the weekend. He was 62. No word on the cause of death or who will take over as the county judge. With your Texas News headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
Former lobbyist Sid Miller is flying high, and Texans are paying the price. As Agriculture Commissioner, Sid Miller spends our money traveling the globe with 48 taxpayer-funded overseas trips planned this year alone. And while Sid Miller travels the world on our dime, foreign adversaries like China and the Muslim Brotherhood are buying up Texas farmland from right under our feet. It's why Governor Abbott called Miller an utter failure. But thankfully, we have a choice. Abbott endorsed Nate Sheets is running for Ag Commissioner to put farmers first. Nate Sheets is a proud veteran and Christian who built America's #1 honey company from a single beehive in his backyard. As Ag Commissioner, Nate will fight to improve the bottom line for farmers and ranchers and help Trump stop foreign enemies from buying up our land. Governor Abbott, Texas Farm Bureau, and the Texas Cattle Raisers stand with Nate Sheets. Vote conservative Republican Nate Sheets for Ag Commissioner.
I'm Nate Sheets, and I approve of this message. Political ad paid for by Nate Sheets Campaign.
South Plains weather forecast on this Monday evening as temperatures are dropping into the lower 50s and clouds continue to increase. Maybe a few sprinkles overnight too. Then on Tuesday, the rain chances increase to 40%. The temperatures in the middle to upper 60s for Tuesday. A continued 40% chance for rain Tuesday evening. Weather is brought to you by Sonic and the American Smashers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts on Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
I'm Loney with your money now. Wall Street posted gains across the board today. The Dow Industrials up 20 points, ending the session at a new record close, 50,136. NASDAQ up 207, S&P 500 ahead by 32. American Airlines CEO Robert Isom says he will meet with the carrier's pilot union as soon as possible as concerns by aviators grow over its handling of a recent storm and company financials. On Friday, the union, representing more than 16,000 American Airlines pilots, asked management to present its concerns to the carrier's board of directors. Lyft has launched teen accounts today, more than 2 years after rival Uber rolled out the feature. Lyft has the program set for ages 13 to 17. Kids can request rides, but parents can keep track of every step of the process. Plus, drivers must meet higher standards, including safe driving records and background checks. 200 markets currently have the program. That's your money now.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. All your roles, fill them sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. It isn't unusual for members of Congress to die on the job. Why is it that aging lawmakers won't step aside? There's now a new debate over age limits. Also, investors are bracing for more turbulence after an aggressive retreat by software stocks that ended with an impressive turnaround. And frugal influencers share their best money-saving tips. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. Weekday mornings at 5 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Empowering West Texas with news that matters. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO.
He wants to be Lubbock County Commissioner again for Precinct 4. Welcome back.
Thanks, Chad, for having me back.
You bet. How are things going?
Good. I've been doing some block walking today. This weekend was a beautiful day for block walking. I think I covered 10 miles on Saturday. I think I covered 4 today.
Yeah.
It's great. I love doing the block walking. That's one of the best parts about campaigning is the block walking.
Yeah.
Because you get to really find out what people's interests are and the questions that they have. And so it kind of gives you the temperature of how Lubbock County feels right now.
Well, that's good. So what we were talking during the break about one of the big things that people keep bringing up to you. I guess that would be the Expo Center.
I've had that question more than just about any. Basically, what happened to the $7.5 million? And we're 8 years into this. We have nothing going on. So what's your opinion on it? Well, my opinion is I'm afraid we're going to have a building that's going to get started and not finished. I'm not against the project, but I am against the people who are leading the project right now. They've had nearly 8 years, and what do we have? We're starting over with new plans.
So what's the answer? I mean, what can you do if you elected? What idea do you have to fix it?
Well, we know we're going to have nearly $35 million, minus the $7 million that's gone.
Yeah.
So we can do this on our own if we want to. We still have the property out there. And with the LCEC group making the promises, they've had donation to this project. Why can't those same donors just give it to the county? Because then it's public money that can be looked through our auditors and looked through our treasurer's pockets, because it's public and it's you can ask for a freedom for information request, and there it is. We don't have that right now.
Is that how it should be done, though? Should this be a county project where...
Well, it is a county project because our name's on it. The building's going to be owned by the county. The land's owned by the county. So what is it not the county?
I'm just wondering, can you find another, is there a way to go about it? Let's say you don't like the current leadership of the nonprofit. Is there a way to fix the leadership? In a way.
We actually have a board that was put together by the Commissioners Court that was supposed to go in and facilitate kind of finding out what the LCEC has. They've gotten no information from them. So they're kind of fed up as well. At least I know two of the board members, they tell me all the time they're fed up. They're thinking about just getting out because they don't want their name tied to it.
Mm-hmm. So the Commissioners Court recently voted to move forward.
Correct.
With plans. If elected... What would you do? I mean, would you try to stop it, or?
No, I think there needs to be some accountability. There needs to be, where'd the money go? Where's it going? Because right now, there's no accountability. I know the LCEC is being sued right now because they won't say exactly what happened to the $7.5 million. We, as a county, I don't think we can be involved with something like that. We either have to be completely transparent, or we have to go to where the county is transparent because we're a public entity, where the private entity part has, in my opinion, has not done their part.
Do you want to see the project moved, or do you want to see it still on that North Slide Road location?
Right now, it's fine where it's at. I mean, I don't
Not
have
North Slide, but North Lubbock location.
It's North University.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. It's just what we have is the leadership from the LCEC is the problem right now.
Yeah.
We need more transparency. Okay. And that's what I'm hearing from the voters out there. They want to know what happened and where we're going. Quit hiding. I mean, how many times have we been told we're fixing to break ground? I mean, how many times on your show have you heard it?
Oh, yeah.
I know at least 5.
Yeah. So, okay, if that's the part of it, what would it take for? Is it a vote of the Commissioners Court to do away with the LCEC, or what has to happen?
Well, the way it was supposed to be put up, we have the county corporation that's supposed to interact with the LCEC. Sure. They're supposed to give recommendations to the commissioners, and the commissioners, depending on what their recommendations are, either voted up or down, or to hold the money, or so much has gone on up there since I've been there. I'd have to go digging through the weeds again to see where we're at.
Now, is there any scenario where it's just you look at it and go, no, this is not, this is, we just give the money back to those who.
How are we going to do that?
I'm just asking.
This is hot
because
tax.
It's been floated. That idea's been at least put out there.
This is a hot tax. I don't see that being realistic, that we're going to find everybody who stayed in a motel or rented a car here giving their money back. That is not realistic.
I didn't say it was. I'm just saying that
the voters
people have asked why keep moving forward.
Wanted this, we need to do something.
Okay, so
if that means we only get a $30 million facility, so be it. We get a $30 million facility. That's kind of what they have in Abilene. It was built for less than that. I had talked to, it was Mr. McDougal. He said he could have had that same thing done at the South Plains Fair for under $30 million. Now, that was before COVID, so I don't know what it would be in that right now, but he's a developer, so I would trust he's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, didn't the South Plains Fair say that they didn't want anything to do with it?
Well, there were some problems with location.
Yeah.
There was some discussions at the very beginning where that was one of the facilities that we could have done.
Yeah, would have made more sense to me.
We had some logistics on where exactly it was going to be put on the property. That's the reason behind it not going there.
Right. Okay, so if let's just say, because you said your main concern was a building that's just, basically half built and it's sitting there. That's worst case scenario.
That is worst case scenario.
What happens then if that happens?
Well, the way the bond was written, we're not supposed to use any taxpayer money to finish this thing. But How do you have a building that's half finished? Yeah. I don't have a good idea for that.
Aren't they supposed to be prevented from doing anything until they have the money to at least build what they have the money for?
According to how the bond was written, whenever it went out to the public to secure these bonds with a hot tax, that's how it was written. No public tax money was supposed to be go to this other than the hot tax.
Yeah. So who makes sure that part is enforced?
Our auditor. She keeps up with all the bills, and she keeps up with the money coming in. The tax assessor collector, he gives an update every quarter on how much we've collected and what's expected to generate. So we get that information.
So if they're doing their jobs, then
and it's all public record, so anybody can see it.
But if they're doing their jobs, then we shouldn't have any issues with at least something being built.
Correct. That's what I agree.
Okay. Let's see. When it comes to another issue that has popped up a lot in this race,
public safety
is public safety.
That's the second one I get asked about.
What needs to happen? What's the problem there?
We absolutely cannot cut our public safety. I mean, I've been big on not raising taxes, holding the line. But when it comes to public safety, if we have to raise some taxes, I'm not going to skimp on that. Our sheriff's department has to be fully funded. Our volunteer fire departments have to be fully funded. I mean, we ask these guys for no pay at all to run in burning buildings, but we cut them by $250,000. I mean, that makes no sense to me. With 2 weeks left, we had our DA's department was told, you're going to have to cut it by 10% with 2 weeks left. Well, how do you get a department like that? Or where are we going to find 10%? Public safety, I'm not going to risk our public safety at all. But with trying to keep our taxes low, we're going to have to look outside the box for generating revenue. We're going to have to build our tax base, such as when we bought Leprino in here, that's going to bring $10 billion into our economy. Looking for other ways, like when I served on the MPO, I found $16 million that went to our road projects. Mm-hmm. About 20% of the county's budget comes from grants. There's grants out there everywhere. You just got to go look for them. It takes a lot of research, takes a lot of reading, takes a lot of time. I always look at that first before I'd consider raising a tax rate. But if it comes to public safety, so be it, it's going to have to do that. Now, I've never voted for anything like that, but we're to the point now, we're at the 2009 rates, and here we are at 2026. You've seen what COVID has done and how expensive everything has become.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to skimp on public safety.
What do you say to those folks who are like, hey, we can't afford more taxes. We can't afford higher tax rates. We want people who are not going to increase taxes.
Well, can you afford not to have public safety? I mean, we have nearly 70 gangs here in Lubbock. Right now, at any one given time at night, we have 5 sheriff's patrols. That's it, that cover 900 square miles. I mean, public safety, if you look at the duties of a county commissioner, public safety is number one on the list.
Why not? Is there room to cut from other areas and move that money over to public safety?
Well, that's what I had done in the past. The first year I was there is actually me and Commissioner Crowley, we did a walkout.
Yeah.
Because we had already found the money where it's at, so no departments would be hurt. There was $3.2 million sitting in workers' comp. So we could have done the effective rate and still covered everybody. There's little pigeonholes of money we find all the time up there. Now, workers' comp, they've robbed it to the point where there's nothing else left there. And we're to the point where we're cutting to the point that we're not functioning well.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take the break. When we come back, we'll have another segment with Chad Seay. He's running in the Republican primary for Lubbock County Commissioner Precinct 4. We'll be right back.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, The Chad Seay Show.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Seay Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Seay Show podcast. The Chad Seay Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page on KFYO.com. The Chad Seay Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Pedal to the metal, greased lightning, burn rubber, make tracks, full gas. Whatever you call it, it's speeding. And a heavy foot can cost you a heavy fine or more. Speeding is a factor in more than 150,000 crashes every year in Texas, many of them fatal. Slow down, be safe, drive smart, and take it easy. A message from the Texas Department of Transportation.
I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute. It's been 27 years since a dad, his young daughter, and a work associate were murdered in Westminster, Colorado, and now local police are upping the reward to close the case. Paul Skiba, his 9-year-old daughter Sarah, and his employee Lorenzo Chivers disappeared February 7, 1999. Paul owned a moving company. Sarah tagged along for some moves that day along with Lorenzo. Police say around 7 p.m. that day, something violent occurred. Investigators believe the three were murdered either in the truck yard or another location. The truck was found back in the lot the next day, but its moving ramps, blankets, straps were all missing. Police say evidence suggests the bodies were transported in the moving truck to an unknown location and have never been recovered. Recently, detectives have reanalyzed evidence, and they're hoping an $11,000 reward will entice someone to come forward. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Westminster Police Department at 303-658-4360. There's more on this story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime Podcast. I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute.
Buck Sexton here to remind you to come hang with me and Clay Travis weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. You'll laugh, you'll learn, you'll never be alone.
Back on the Chad Seay Show, we've got Chad Seay, former Lubbock County Commissioner in Precinct 4. Now he wants that job back. He's ready to take that job back, and he wants to be a county commissioner again in Precinct 4, Lubbock County. He's running in that Republican primary, and one of the controversies, I'll say it's kind of played out more on social media, maybe more than anywhere else, and that has been your voting record when it comes to tax increases. Kind of talk to us about, you've been accused of voting for tax increases while you're in office, right?
Yeah, and let's go over that. Let's go back to 2019, which this is kind of a historic tax session because the first time ever it's happened, two commissioners walked out in the middle of the session, which to set a tax rate, you have to have 4 of the 5 commissioners court members there. So me and Jason Corley walked out, forcing the effective rate. Yeah. Now, it didn't hurt the county in one bit because we had already found where the money was going to come from to cover everything, and it was going to come from workers' comp. There was $3.2 million just sitting there. So we were able to cover everything, no problem. Then I went to the county clerk's office, because it's the only where you can see this. And on September 14th of 2020, I actually not only did I not vote for a tax rate, I tried to amend it on the dais to accept the effective rate. Got turned down with Jason Corley voting with me. Then it went to the actual rate itself. 3 of the commissioners court voted it up with me and Jason Corley voting it down. So that's my second year there. Third year I was there, it went to what was called the voter approved rate. That means the voters themselves voted on the tax rate, and they voted for a tax rate beyond the 2.5%. So they voted themselves the tax rate out there, and all that money went to public safety, which that was the sheriff's department, to finish out their STEP program. And then let's see where it is right here. In August 22nd of 22, when we're setting the tax rate, you can see in item number 50, again, there were three members of the Commissioners Court voted for the raise in the rates, with myself and Jason Corley voting against the rate. We wanted to have the effective rate. And you can go back in any of the work sessions, and all through the work sessions, I was against having anything other than the effective rate because that's what I promised. And you can see these are actual documents from the court itself, the county clerk's office.
So from what I've seen online, there are some who say you should, I guess, with the voter approved rate.
Yes.
Is that, I guess they were wanting you to walk out again on that one? What would have happened if you would have voted against the voter approved rate?
Well, the sheriff wouldn't have finished their step pay, and we were already losing enough sheriff's officers because we're losing them to the schools, we're losing them to not LSD, but the actual police officers here. We're losing them to other departments because we paid pathetic. And so that's why the voters decided that they wanted to raise the rates to give it to the sheriff's department.
What was that vote?
When was it?
No, what was the vote?
It was like nearly 70%. It was the high 60s.
Well, no. What I'm asking is for the commissioners. What was the vote of the commissioners to approve the voter approved rate?
Oh, to want it to go to the voters? It was 5-0 to let the voters decide on the rate.
Okay, and then when y'all were finalizing the rate, and you said you voted,
the rate was passed by the voters.
Right.
Okay.
So, but you voted to, since the voters approved of that rate, you voted to set
let it
that
go through
as the rate. Did anyone vote against it?
No.
Okay. Did anyone walk out?
No.
Okay.
And another reason for the walkout, we used to have what was called a budget committee. That was 2 commissioners and an auditor, and they decided pretty much everything, and we voted up and down. And there was some shenanigans over there. Remember we're going to make these new guys eat crow? You remember that?
Yeah.
Well, they weren't going to make us eat crow. We'd already found the money, and we covered it. So that's perfect reason to walk out when there's some shenanigans going on.
Do you anticipate a tax increase moving forward for Lubbock County? If elected, do you think taxes will go up for Lubbock County?
I do not know. I got to get in there and see what kind of funding we can find. Like I just mentioned,
they're having to dip into emergency reserves.
I know, and that's the absolute worst thing you can do. But like I mentioned to you earlier, I found $16 million just from the MPO for roads. We get 20% of our money from grants. Now, if we can continue getting grants or building our tax base, like when Leprino comes here, adding $10 billion into our economy, you either build your tax base, find grants to cover it, or if you can't do it, you're going to have to raise the rates.
So when it comes to the no new revenue rate, is it fair to say that nobody should commit to the no new revenue rate? Or
not without looking at the budget right now. I mean, when we're sitting at the 2009 rate and it's 2026, we got a problem, especially if we're pulling it from reserves just to cover regular budget items. That's the wrong way to do things. So number one, you either have to build your tax base. Number two, you got to find grants or other revenues to cover it, or you're going to have to increase the rate.
Yeah. Let me ask, we only have a few minutes left. When it comes to, and I've had a few people who have brought this up, and we saw the city of Lubbock have to deal with one of these earlier, AI data centers. Is that something that is going to be, something that the county commissioners court is going to have to look at in the future about AI data centers and, maybe what's happening in the county with those?
To be honest with you, I have not done a lot of research on these AI data places.
Yeah.
I understand they take a lot of water. Now, if that's the case, we're going to have to do something because Lubbock County is running out of water.
Yeah.
We can't let something like this take our water.
You know what I read? I read that for like the Chat GPT images that people post on Facebook all the time and everything. I saw it. It's the equivalent of 5 drops of water for each image generated.
See, and I don't understand why.
I don't know.
I don't know enough about it.
And everything
and
else.
I'm not going to tell you something I don't know.
It does take up a lot of water, and that's a big concern.
Yes, it's very big
especially
concern.
out here.
Well, you take up around the shallow water area and on the east side of it, they're running out of water. I know people have torn their houses down to save taxes because they have no water.
Yeah. All right. Where can people find more information about your campaign?
Well, they can go to chadwc.com. Or they can get to my Gmail account, which is chadseay806@gmail.com.
All right.
They can call my cell phone at 806-789-2282.
We'll be right back.
Thanks.
The Chad Seay Show, a presentation of Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Seay Show are not necessarily the views of this station's staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.
Celebrating 98 years of broadcasting, this is KFYO.
News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO, KFYO, and K236CP Lubbock, and on the KFYO app.
It's 6 o'clock in Texas.
Another week of this nightmare. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox News. That is how Savannah Guthrie described her family situation in a new video, pleading for help in finding her mother.
In an Instagram video, Savannah Guthrie says she believes her mother, Nancy Guthrie, is still out there.
We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
The 84-year-old was last seen at her home outside Tucson over a week ago. The FBI confirmed last week it was taking a ransom letter seriously, but no suspects have been named.
So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement.
The family has repeatedly pleaded for her safe return. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
A shooting this afternoon inside a Maryland high school.
Police in Rockville, Maryland say they responded to a shooting at Wooten High School Monday afternoon. One student was shot and police said a suspect, also a student, was in custody. The school was put on lockdown and a reunification center established as worried parents lined up in their cars waiting outside the school to pick up their kids.
There's been numerous incidents and I'm not really sure
how they've been handled. I don't have a good understanding.
That mother told Fox 5 DC there'd been incidents involving racist vandalism, swastikas drawn at the school, and a previous bomb threat. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Ghislaine Maxwell pleading the fifth during a House Oversight Committee deposition today. Meantime, Bill and Hillary Clinton are criticizing the committee for not allowing them to testify publicly after they were threatened with contempt. Committee Chair James Comer.
This is how depositions work, and it will be made public.
The Clintons are scheduled to testify at the end of the month. America is listening to Fox News.
The Chad Seay Show.
Local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Tuesday, Tom Collins, Matt Crow.
You may not know this. We have a candidate for the United States Senate right here in town. His name is Gus Kahn. He'll be in the studio and tell us about his campaign.
Yeah, also, Cheryl Isaacs, Coldwell Banker Real Estate, will be here to talk about facets of real estate that you really need to know about. Also, we got some prize bomb stuff.
Lots of stuff for chopped and sliced, pancakes, you name it. Dwight Yoakam.
Sunrise LBK in the morning.
South Plains weather forecast on this Monday evening as temperatures are dropping into the lower 50s and clouds continue to increase. Maybe a few sprinkles overnight too. Then on Tuesday, the rain chances increase to 40%. The temperatures in the middle to upper 60s for Tuesday. A continued 40% chance for rain Tuesday evening. Weather is brought to you by Sonic and the American Smashers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts on Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Broadcasting from the great state of Texas, news and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Seay.
And just like that, we are in hour number 2 of the program. Boy, it's moving quickly today. Christi Craddick coming up at 6:35. She wants to tell you why she should be the next Texas Comptroller. Thanks again to Chad Seay for joining us about his campaign for Lubbock County Commissioner, Precinct 4 in the Republican primary. Joining us right now as we talk about news and politics across the Lone Star State. We've got Scott Braddock, editor of QuorumReport.com. Scott, welcome back to the show. How are you today?
Bad Bunny Braddock checking in for duty. What's up?
Bad Bunny
Braddock. You had to see it. It was seen around the world. I saw that the Houston Chronicle was reporting that I was in a spat with the lieutenant governor, which that in and of itself wouldn't even be news because, we've had disagreements before, right? But it was funny to me that he was, I think, maybe a little agitated that I had reported out last night during the Super Bowl in the halftime show that Patrick's political operation was texting Austin lobbyists and telling them to tune in for Kid Rock instead of Bad Bunny. And some people just thought, well, maybe he could, use his time a little better, but I understand he likes one better than the other. And think about the fact that Donald Trump, the president, has said, that Bad Bunny sucks and he doesn't want people watching that. So it's all personalities. You know how it goes.
Yeah. For y'all's, to be honest with you, I thought it was for a disagreement between you and the lieutenant governor. I thought it was quite tame.
Yes. I thanked him for confirming what I was reporting.
I think he's called you worse before.
He absolutely has. Well, and he did say that he said, "Well, Scott, I'll take that suggestion. I'll go out there and I will promote that one because they're gonna promote some wholesome music instead of this Bad Bunny stuff." Which I would say, just objectively, you could probably find things that are objectionable in the music of either of the headliner acts for the TPUSA deal or for the one that the NFL hosted. And I guess people can make their judgment calls.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's just get to some of the campaigns that are out there.
Yeah.
We have new polling in the Senate races. First, let's take a look at what's going on in the Republican primary, because we've got polling all over the damn place in that race.
Well, and this is something that we suffer from in Texas, is what my publisher, Mr. Kronberg, often calls the paucity of polling in Texas. So it means we don't really get to see much of the quality polling. And so these polls, like you say, can kind of be all over the place. On the Republican side, we've seen several polls now in a row, which kind of bear out what you and I have talked about. And I mentioned this on some television programs and elsewhere, that Congressman Wes Hunt from Houston is on the rise. Does that mean that he can get to the point where he would be in a runoff with either John Cornyn or with Ken Paxton? I don't know, and who knows whether any of these polls are actually, going to end up being what happens on Election Day. We don't know that, and we should always say that for all these polls, they're not meant to be a predictor of the future. They are a diagnostic tool to tell political professionals kind of what's going on with this right now. It would be kind of like if you hooked up your body to the EKG and just got a reading, right? And the doctors would say, okay, well, maybe we need to do this, maybe we need to do that. The political consultants working for any of these people, that's how they treat these numbers. They would look at it and say, well, maybe we need to do this. And so you've seen some of the developments here. But one thing that I think gives some credibility to the idea that Hunt is really on the rise is the fact that you now see the Paxton operation, including third-party groups that are supporting the Attorney General for the United States Senate. What are they doing, Chad? They're attacking Hunt, right? Yeah. And that tells me that they must think, it's not me, it's they must think that Hunt is a growing threat to the Attorney General. And I know you and I have talked about this. You've got Hunt, who I think to a lot of conservative voters, and I wonder what your listeners think about this, a lot think that, hey, Hunt can be the, quote, MAGA alternative who doesn't have all the scandal attached to him, right? I mean, one of the most recent headlines at quorumreport.com about Paxton is that on Thursday or Friday, they set the divorce date, the trial date, which anytime a couple goes to trial in a divorce, that tells you they have a lot to fight about. But the Collin County courts are going to hear in a trial the divorce proceedings of Paxton and Senator Angela Paxton. But with Wes Hunt, you don't have any of that, right? You don't have the scandal around the divorce, all the alleged affairs, the accusations that were brought up during the impeachment process, and all of that stuff. Instead, those who maybe want some MAGA alternative here can go with a guy who doesn't have all that baggage. And for Cornyn, look, as we have said many times on this show and elsewhere, he's in the political fight of his life. When this race started out, I think Cornyn was at least hoping, and his campaign operation was hoping, that maybe they could pull this off without a runoff. There's no poll that shows that's possible now. And, of course, if he does get into a runoff, that's where for a Republican or Democratic incumbent in this state, they just almost never survive those runoffs. So there's no way for him to avoid it at this point. And there are enough polls that have been out there now for us to think that maybe there could be a runoff that he's not even in. It almost is like a wide open race at this point.
Yeah. I mean, if you're the Paxton camp, I think, and I would just if you're the Paxton camp, you got to feel pretty good. One, that you haven't had to spend any money, you haven't had to do it. You're probably safe. You're probably going to get into a runoff. If you're the Wesley Hunt campaign, there's nowhere to go but up, and you've got to be happy about that. If you're the Cornyn camp, you've been around 24 years.
Right.
I mean, the fact that you're not polling near 40%, not polling it, I mean, that's got to be a big shock to the system for John Cornyn.
100%. And that's why we've seen him become more and more desperate in the estimation of a lot of people. I mean, the Cornyn campaign has started to highlight some of the personal problems of the Attorney General in a way that, again, just seems kind of desperate. In Harris County, for example, there are these pay-for-play slates. And everyone, I'm not saying anything out of school. Everyone knows this. Anybody who's done politics in Houston, which I did for many years, there are 3 newsletters there that basically you pay them and they'll kind of say what the campaign wants. And in this case, Terry Lowry, which I don't know if y'all have received the link letter.
Oh, yeah.
Out in Lubbock. Okay. Well, in Houston, it's a long-going concern, of course. And, it's just the fact that it looks like the Cornyn campaign, paid them some cash, and, now they're bad-mouthing Paxton on behalf of the Cornyn campaign. Terry Lowry has been pay-for-play for years. And so that's happening now in a way that seems desperate to a lot of people. And I've made this point a few times. I'm trying to remember if you and I have talked about it, but whether it's in personal relationships or politics or business, when someone starts to seem desperate, once you see them as desperate, you can't see them any other way, right? And I think about the 2012 and 2014 campaigns of Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst when he was running against, in a runoff, he was running against the man who would become Senator, Ted Cruz, in 12, and then the man who would become Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, in 14. And in both of those races, there became a point where a longtime incumbent, statewide office holder, just seemed desperate. And as the kids would say, something is giving desperation. I would say maybe at this point, Cornyn is giving David Dewhurst. It's not going great right now.
Yeah. What about on the Democrat side of things? How are things? I mean, how's it? What is the real temperature in the Democrat primary? Is Tallarico up? Is Crockett up? Like, where is that campaign going?
Based on the polls, it's hard to tell. But the latest University of Houston hobby school poll shows him. I would say that poll. It's a Mark Jones thing. He's one of the political scientists in Houston. I think he's done a better job of figuring out Democratic politics than Republican politics, at least as far as his polling. But his poll out this morning showed that Crockett is out ahead of James Tallarico by 7 or 8 points. When you remember, just a few weeks ago, there was a poll out of Austin that showed the opposite, that Tallarico was up by 8 points. And then there was another poll run by this guy that was produced by a guy named Luke Warford, who's a former Texas Democratic Party staffer, who, by all accounts, is someone who supports Tallarico. But his poll showed that even that guy's poll, he kind of supports Tallarico, but his poll showed that Crockett was up by 1 point. And it's interesting, there was some reporting out of Washington earlier today or yesterday that showed that there's a lot of confusion around the campaign of Representative Crockett. And what I mean by confusion is a lot of the Washington people don't understand why she's not running a, quote, traditional campaign with someone who you could point to as the campaign manager, someone you could point to as, their specific, media person and whatever else it is. But she's not doing it the way that all of the Washington people expect her to do it. And here's the thing. According to those polls, she's still in the lead, even though you have Tallarico, who is spending, a ton of money, especially for a Democratic primary in Texas. I'm trying to remember the last time we had anything close to the kind of Democratic spending in a primary that Tallarico's campaign is doing. He's outspending her, Chad, something like 17 to 1. He's spent at least $7 million, something like that, probably approaching $8 or $9 million right now, to still be behind Representative Crockett in this latest poll. So we'll see how it turns out on Election Day, but by all accounts, it's a campaign that is competitive. And I told one of the TV stations in Austin on Friday that, you know what, maybe it's good for the Democrats. How many of these nasty, competitive Republican primaries have you and I covered, where, of course, the Republicans tear each other to shreds before the March primary. But then by the time November rolls around, they all generally come together and beat the Democrats. They have done that for a generation now. And what I told them in Austin the other day was that for the Democrats, because they don't really have a competitive primary for any of these races, it's almost like if you had the Super Bowl and only one of the teams actually had to do the playoffs and one of the teams just went there without having to do all the rest of the games. Well, the one that didn't have to get tested would always lose to the one that did, right? And so I think that translates to politics as well.
Before we let you go, we've seen the governor come out and make some endorsements.
Yeah.
And another publication basically was talking about how, I guess their headline was something to the effect that Sid Miller in the Texas Ag Commissioner's race is the underdog, and I made the comment last week and I made it again today on social media, I wouldn't call Sid Miller the underdog, even though he doesn't have the endorsement of Abbott.
Yeah.
It's one thing to get the endorsement of Abbott, and then there's another to get the full-throated campaigning for you endorsement of Abbott, correct?
I agree with you. I don't think that Miller is the underdog. He is the incumbent, and his name has been on the ballot, and conservative Republicans in Texas have voted for him multiple times at the statewide level. And when I moderated that debate between Miller and his challenger, Nate Sheets, last week in Houston, I can tell you that when voters heard about, because I read, just like you on your show, read the quotes from what Governor Abbott had said to our friend Mark Davis. You read those quotes to Sid Miller, and then he explained himself as best he could. When I presented that in a debate, I could tell that once Sid had his say, that the voters who were there, these are conservative Republicans, they're not fazed by it. Anything that Abbott is saying. Now, Abbott is going around and he's doing some campaign appearances with Nate Sheets, the challenger, and he has talked about the idea that, Sid Miller is corrupt and has, what did he call it, some relationship with criminality or whatever the phrase he used was. But as far as I can tell, and this is key, Abbott isn't actually doing anything else other than talking. It's not as if the Abbott machine is going around the state and spending money against Sid Miller the way that he was doing when he was campaigning against Texas House members 2 years ago.
There you go.
And he's not doing that. He's not cutting television ads and telling people that they should vote against Miller. As far as I can tell, his operation isn't doing any block walking against Miller or anything else that would be a real thing other than talking on Twitter or talking on the radio. And, in a state the size of Texas, most of the people who are going to vote in that Republican primary did not hear that interview on the Mark Davis show in DFW, right? Yeah. Or wherever Abbott might have said this stuff. Or most of them are not going to be at those events that the governor was at. So unless the governor actually, and this could change before Election Day on March 3rd, but unless he actually puts his shoulder into it, the way he went after those House members, I would think Miller should be just fine.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. That's because, again, we've seen we've seen the Abbott who's made endorsements before, and it hasn't mattered. It has not mattered one bit when Abbott has made an endorsement.
Well, yeah. Well, you might agree with this. Abbott has a record of being able to tear people down, which he did with those House members 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a record of building people up.
Yeah, I can see that. Scott, what else can people find over at quorumreport.com?
Oh, man, we're around 10 days to early voting. This primary is in full swing. We've got all the updates for you, 24/7, quorumreport.com. Click free sign up, and we'll keep you in the loop.
All right, very good. We'll talk to you again next week, Scott.
Thanks, Chad.
Have a good one. That's Scott Braddock, editor of quorumreport.com. When we come back, your reaction to the interviews we've had so far. We'll be right back.
The Chad Seay Show can be heard all over West Texas. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune into News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock. News Talk 940 in Amarillo. News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene. And in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Seay Show. Make it a part of your drive home. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Get hurt in the game? We tough it out. Feel exhausted? We push on. Feeling down? We pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But there are times when bootstraps aren't enough. When stress gets to us and we need to talk to someone about what we're really going through. So we're going to reach out because sometimes mental health is not a one-person job. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
When high winds and dangerous storms rock West Texas, stay ahead of the weather with the station you trust. Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO.
Back on the Chad Seay Show. Hey, earlier we had Deborah Perry and Brent Gwynn on the program to talk about the Pancake Festival. And let's go ahead and give away a family 4-pack of tickets. We'll do what we did at the end of last week where we asked for you to text in, and we'll draw a name. Let's do that again. Why not? That was fun last time. You've got basically the next 5 minutes to text in. When we go to break at 6:30, we're going to stop taking texts. But if you'd like to be registered to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Pancake Festival, text in the word pancakes at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Again, text in the word pancakes. And we will include your name when you text in. So put your name on there. So your name in the word pancakes when you text in. And Nick will be in touch with you if you are indeed the winner. So, again, you've got 5 minutes or so to text in. And 806-680-2790. Text in the word pancakes with your name, and then we'll give you a call back if you are the winner. So you get registered by texting in, and we'll do a random number generator, and we'll see. We'll do, again, in the order they come in, that'll be your number, and we will get a winner that way. So again, you can text in 806-680-2790, include the word pancakes and your name, so that way we can get a hold of you nice and easy when you text in, and if you're the big winner. 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. You heard Braddock talk about some of the different polling that's out there in the Senate race, and there is some new polling. You've got Ken Paxton, according to the University of Houston, in their poll, likely sample 550 likely Republican primary voters conducted January 20th and January 31st. Paxton led incumbent Senator John Cornyn by 7 percentage points across the aisle. Similar poll of 550 Democrat voters showed Crockett ahead of James Tallarico by 8%. In both primaries, 12% of respondents said they were still undecided in this one. In a hypothetical matchup for the general election, there is little difference between the expected performance of a Republican and the Democrat, regardless of who the candidate is. And that's why I say, here's who you need to pick. The person who best aligns with your values, the person who you believe will fight for you, your values, your beliefs, your country. That's who you need to vote for in the primary. Who you best align with. We'll be right back. You've still got about 2 minutes to text in. We'll be right back.
The Chad Seay Show, weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You've got a life to live, and you don't want to miss out on any of it. That's why the first thing you do when you get in a car is buckle your seatbelt. Whether you're a driver or a passenger, not wearing your seatbelt could get you a ticket, a fine, or worse. Nobody wants that. So remember, if you love it, click it. Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
TSN has headlines. The federal government continues to buy up property in Texas to be used as ICE detention center. City leaders in the community of Socorro in East El Paso County voicing opposition to the ICE purchase of nearly 900,000 square feet of warehouse space. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and Dallas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett continue to hold leads in the latest University of Houston poll for their party's Senate nominations. They're posed by incumbent John Cornyn and Texas House member James Tallarico. There are multiple billboards in Texas publicizing the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the missing mother of Today's Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. The FBI launched the billboards in Houston, San Antonio, El Paso, and Louisville. Comal County Judge Sherman Krause has died at his home in New Braunfels. Happened over the weekend. He's been the county judge there for more than 15 years. He was 62 years old. Statewide average for a gallon of gasoline is $2.50. And with your Texas news headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
Former lobbyist Sid Miller is flying high, and Texans are paying the price. As Agriculture Commissioner, Sid Miller spends our money traveling the globe with 48 taxpayer-funded overseas trips planned this year alone. And while Sid Miller travels the world on our dime, foreign adversaries like China and the Muslim Brotherhood are buying up Texas farmland from right under our feet. It's why Governor Abbott called Miller an utter failure. But thankfully, we have a choice. Abbott endorsed Nate Sheets as running for Ag Commissioner to put farmers first. Nate Sheets is a proud veteran and Christian who built America's #1 honey company from a single beehive in his backyard. As Ag Commissioner, Nate will fight to improve the bottom line for farmers and ranchers and help Trump stop foreign enemies from buying up our land. Governor Abbott, Texas Farm Bureau, and the Texas Cattle Raisers stand with Nate Sheets. Vote conservative Republican Nate Sheets for Ag Commissioner.
I'm Nate Sheets, and I approve of this message. Political ad paid for by Nate Sheets Campaign.
Lubbock South Plains weather forecast on this Monday evening as temperatures are dropping into the lower 50s and clouds continue to increase. Maybe a few sprinkles overnight too. Then on Tuesday, the rain chances increase to 40%. The temperatures in the middle to upper 60s for Tuesday. A continued 40% chance for rain Tuesday evening. Weather is brought to you by Sonic and the American Smashers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts on Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. It isn't unusual for members of Congress to die on the job. Why is it that aging lawmakers won't step aside? There's now a new debate over age limits. Also, investors are bracing for more turbulence after an aggressive retreat by software stocks that ended with an impressive turnaround. And frugal influencers share their best money-saving tips. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News.
Weekday mornings at 5 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Securing America.
Fox News was there exclusively in the middle of the night as FBI agents walked a frail Zubair al-Bakush down the stairs into a waiting ambulance. Authorities say he's one of the men behind the September 11th, 2012 attack on the U.S. diplomatic compound in Benghazi, Libya. The brazen attack killed 4 Americans, including Ambassador Christopher Stevens. In addition to Stevens, U.S. government personnel Tyrone Woods, Glenn Doherty, and Sean Smith were also killed. U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro.
I spoke with Sean Smith's mother, who I've known for years and have communicated with for years. I spoke with Tyrone Woods' widow, Dr. Dorothy Woods. I spoke with Ambassador Chris Stevens' family, as well as Glenn Doherty's brother, Greg.
If convicted, al-Bakush could face the death penalty. In Washington, David Spunt, Fox News.
The news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
It's the Chad Seay Show.
All right, back on the Chad Seay Show, we will announce the winner of the pancakes after our next interview. Yeah, we've got the Republican primary. Look, the early voting starts very, very soon in the primary elections, and we're still having candidates on. And joining us to discuss her campaign for Texas Comptroller in the Republican primary, we've got Christi Craddick joining us. Commissioner Craddick, welcome back to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so tell folks why. I mean, you're a railroad commissioner right now. Now you've decided to throw your hat into the ring for Texas Comptroller. Tell us why.
Look, I've been regulating a third of the state's economy in the oil and gas industry, which has been really important. And I believe that Texans deserve a comptroller who treats taxpayer dollars with the same care that families use at their kitchen table. So I think I bring strong conservative leadership, real accountability, and efficient government to Texas financial operations. And look, y'all have been nice and elected me 3 times statewide, and I've been running a statewide agency. I'm the only one who's been able to do that.
On your website under issues, you say to audit everything. What would that look like under your leadership?
Well, I think as you walk into any job, you need to audit yourself, your agency, and make sure that it's running efficiently, running functionally, that you're using your dollars correctly, that there's no fraud, waste, and abuse in that. And after you have done that, then you start looking at other parts of state government, whether it's agencies, local entities. I think that's really going to be important for all of us to know where our taxpayer dollars are going. Yeah,
I thought it was interesting. You have a piece on your website about launching a local government efficiency task force. I think that's interesting. What would you like to? I mean, how many of these? There's a lot of locals. There's a lot of local government out there. How do you try to get through everybody, or do you try to get everybody? Looking at everybody.
Well, I think you prioritize state dollars first. So obviously, in your community, schools get state dollars. So I think that's one of the places you start. We all just had bond elections this last cycle. I mean, half of them passed, half of them didn't in November. Yeah. Where are dollars being spent before you go have another bond election? Did we use our dollars how we're supposed to? Are we being real transparent? So I think going in and auditing local entities before they have a bond election, for instance, could be important. And then giving that information to the voters locally so there's more transparency and they have more information before they vote is one priority.
When it comes to you've got a few opponents in this race. One of your opponents is out there talking about doging everything, and that they would be in charge of doging Texas. Is that one? How does that stack up with the job of Texas Comptroller? And how do you align yourself with that?
Look, I'm all for finding fraud, waste, and abuse, but I think you can say a lot. Do you have a record, and what are your plans? So when you look at the Comptroller's office, look, the first thing that it does, and what it is the CFO, is the state, right? And so it controls the state's purse strings, it certifies the state budget, and it issues revenue forecasts so the legislature know how much they can spend or not in any session, right? But what it can't do, frankly, is get rid of your property taxes. The legislature does that. But I think the legislature has to have good numbers and good information. So that's important. Can we look at where we have fraud, waste, and abuse? Absolutely. And that's part of what I've done at the Railroad Commission already. We're more transparent and more efficient. And I think that one of the things I've been talking about moving to the Comptroller's office, which we did at the Railroad Commission, you've heard me say we were on a mainframe Fortran at the Railroad Commission when I got there and doing everything in hard copy. We're now in cloud and much more efficient and transparent, and we're more timely. So we're not wasting dollars. We now are getting permits out the door. When I got there, it was 90 days it took to get a permit out the door, a drilling permit. Now it takes us 48 hours. That's government being transparent and working for you. So finding those opportunities to make it any government agency more efficient and, frankly, more transparent is going to be one of my big priorities.
How do you separate yourself from the other candidates? I mean, why, for the voters out there who maybe they either have been paying attention to this race or they haven't been paying attention to the race, what is the main difference between you and your opponents?
Well, I think first and foremost, I've run an agency for the last 14 years, or coming up on 14 years, so I don't have to learn how to do it. I've won 3 statewide elections, and I've beat Democrats and Republicans, and I think that's going to be important this cycle as we get into November. You got to have somebody with a proven track record, and I know how to work within a budget. If you go look at the Railroad Commission, we're fee-based as an agency, meaning, as you know, when the oil and gas industry is doing well, we're getting more dollars in, and when they're down on a downward turn, we still have to manage that agency and do our job that prioritize what we should be doing with the dollars. And I think I'm the only one who's been able to do that.
Yeah. Visiting with Christi Craddick. You can visit our website, Christi Craddick for Comptroller.com, to get more information. I guess for those who are looking at this and going, okay, what else? Is there something that, doesn't always get the spotlight for the comptroller's office that you want to focus on that, maybe would, bring a little bit more spotlight to an issue?
Well, I think you've got to make sure that you give the resources not just to cities but to rural areas. That's important. Look, your rural areas are trying to bring in jobs as well. One of the things that we have not used this agency well, you're trying to give a tax break, for instance, to bring a company in. How's that going to affect your tax dollars? Come ask the comptroller. We're a resource to be able to help you and understand how it's going to affect your local taxes, for instance, right? Yeah. So I think that's important as an opportunity to understand the whole state, to understand what it means to be in a budget, not just at your house, but as a state agency, and knowing that I've got relationships all over the state, and I appreciate that. Bureaucracy is not what this is about. This is about government working for the people.
Your website, again, is Christi Craddick for Comptroller.com. I assume you're also on all the social media platforms that are out there as well?
We are. So come look us up. We appreciate the time.
Yeah.
Appreciate the vote. So you get to vote starting next week, by the way.
I know. I can't believe it's almost here. But it is.
I'm glad.
It's going to be something to watch. That's for sure. Christi Craddick, again, her website, Christi Craddick for Comptroller.com. Christi Craddick, it's always a pleasure visiting with you, and I'm sure we'll visit again before Election Day.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Y'all stay safe out there.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Christi Craddick running in that Republican primary for comptroller. When we come back, hey, we'll announce the winner. I got to go into the random number generator in order to find out who the winner is. We'll do that when we come back here on the Chad Seay Show.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, The Chad Seay Show.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Seay Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Seay Show podcast. The Chad Seay Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page on KFYO.com. The Chad Seay Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Hi, Angie. This is your phone here in the cup holder. Pick me up.
No, I'm driving.
Oh, look, a text from Mr. Dreamy.
Hush, driving here.
I'm getting an email. Gwen is giving away free bunnies.
No, you are so pushy.
I know. I need therapy. Let's search it now.
Phone, quiet.
Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Talk, text, crash. A message from TxDOT.
Has anybody told you about Coast to Coast AM tonight?
Coast to Coast is one of those programs that deals with strange mysteries. We'll look at Bigfoot. We'll look at UFOs. We'll look at real science. And we'll also look at conspiracies and what it all means to you, the listeners of Coast to Coast AM.
It's the best in overnight talk radio. Coast to Coast AM.
Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. tonight at midnight on KFYO.
Listen to KFYO on your Google Home smart speaker. Download the KFYO app. Then cast the audio to your Google Home smart speaker. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
All right, back on the Chad Seay Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. All right, so we've got a list of people who have who texted in to register for the family 4-pack of tickets to the Pancake Festival. And we put that number into the random number generator. We've come up with, let's see, texter number 8. There's one. That happens to be Linda R. Linda R., congratulations. Nick will be calling you shortly, very soon, to let you know that you are indeed the winner and when you can pick up your tickets to the Pancake Festival. So again, congrats to Linda R. for texting in and being the winner for the Pancake Festival that's going to be happening on Saturday. You're going to have chances to win throughout the week. Don't worry. You'll have chances to win throughout the week and be able to go out to the Pancake Festival that's on Saturday out at the Civic Center, which is, it's always a fun time for people to have some pancakes. If you've missed any of our interviews, be sure to look those up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify as well. We are getting very close to early voting. And I know many of you have wanted to hear from some of the different candidates who have been on the program. You still have time to do that. As we do get closer, some of this is going to come down to also you doing a little bit of legwork on your own, a little bit of homework, and going, who do I want to represent me? Who do I want who's going to represent my values the best? What someone who's going to fight for me. And I don't care what race it is, whether it's the race for U.S. Senate or the race for Texas 19 or the race for county commissioner or county judge. It doesn't matter. Who is going to best represent your values and who's going to be a best fighter for you and steward of the taxpayer money. All of that matters. All of that is important. Endorsements, they don't matter as much. It's who you think is going to best defend you and be there for you and your views, not just over the next 2 years, but over the next 4 years, over the next 6 years, and longer. Who's going to be there to right the ship, if you will? And, I think that's going to guide a lot of people when they get out and vote. For those of you in the Texas 19 area, we are partnering up with the Lubbock County Republican Party. Some of you have already seen the news out there. We are going to hold a debate. The Lubbock County Republican Party has asked me to moderate a debate. It's going to be, I believe it's next Thursday. And we're going to get you all the details, everything, as we get closer. It's not this week. It's going to be next week. It'll be out at Hillcrest Country Club. You're able to attend. And we're going to air the debate right here on KFYO. And so that's something that you'll want to pay attention to. It's going to involve all the, I believe, I've got to double check. I got to make sure that all the candidates are going to be there. I think they're all going to be there, but I've got to double check. And my goal is for this, yes, to be a debate with all the candidates. I've heard from so many people who are still undecided in that Texas 19 race. And so, again, wait till you really know who you're going to vote for to go and early vote. There is no rush to get out there. There's no rush to do. There are a lot of campaigns to look at, a lot of candidates to look at, and you're going to have plenty of time during early voting to get out and vote. I can tell you this: I will not be voting. If I do vote early, it'll be like the last day of early voting, because even I'm a little undecided in a couple of races. So it's something, not many races, but at least one race, maybe two races where I'm a little bit undecided on it. And so I'm going to wait. And again, you never know what's going to come out too. This is why I'm a big fan of just waiting until election day. You never know what's going to come out about somebody. Good, bad, indifferent. You never know. And I have heard from people beforehand who they went and voted on day 1 or 2 of early voting, and then news came out about a candidate that they voted for. They were like, oh, dang it. Wish I wouldn't have voted. Wish I wouldn't have cast a ballot early. So that's just something to remember as well. Let's see, on the app chat, app coming in, let's see. Chad, I was in Amarillo this weekend. Actually saw Wesley Hunt at an event. And it was a well-attended, big campaign event. I do believe he does have some momentum out there. Not sure if it's enough to get him and Paxton both into a runoff, but that would be interesting to see. I think Paxton is probably for sure going to get into a runoff. I would be shocked if he did not get into a runoff. For John Cornyn to miss a runoff, that would be quite something. That would be something. No, Hunt had a campaign rally in Lubbock as well, and it was very well attended in Lubbock on Saturday. Okay, enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you all. Steve Evans will be hosting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll be back on Friday. So I'll see you then. God bless you all. See you later.
The Chad Seay Show, a presentation of Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Seay Show are not necessarily the views of this station's staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.